when we were little kids, we would go out surfing and the red tide and come home. And I remember one time my best friend, we went home to his mom's. She grabbed him by the ear. We were like 16, dragged him through the house, yelling at him because we weren't surfing and it was red tide and our eyes were all like all swollen and red. She's like, "What are you thinking?"
Yeah, if all you got to do is stir up the water to kill that crap, why don't they run boats through there or something? You know, get power boats going back and forth or something, you know?
Because it's from the top to the bottom, and then you bust up the bottom, you kill the fish, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
So
all right, guys, if you're coming on now, we're going to go live. You're only going to be able to hear me when we go live because I'm going to set it up a certain way. I won't be able to talk. Right?
During the breaks.
During the breaks. So I'm going to set it up now. Well, we go live in like 3 minutes. Well, you guys want me to plug you? You can check out Bob and Donnie at srqreview.com,
which I'm going to share you right now.
And you can also watch their show at WSRQ, or listen to their show at WSRQRadio.com Monday through Friday at 4 till 5. Usually on Fridays they have this thing they call Freaky Friday where they cover a lot of the issues I like covering on my national page. But today I'm taking over that time slot. Thank you, Bob. Because that's one of Bob's favorites.
We're campaigning.
Yeah, we're campaigning. So they're going to discuss my platform with me today. Hopefully they'll give me some softball interviews like they gave the guy I'm going up against.
Oh.
Well, that wasn't meant to be a dig.
Yes, it
was. Maybe we just didn't know the dirt at the time.
Maybe you can get him back on. I don't know if he'll come back on after this one. His campaign manager is probably on there watching. Little jerk. Bob, you know, I put I don't know if you guys were on my page today. I put something on there. I was at the jetty and I was just being satirical. I'm like, oh yeah, I thought I saw Bob Daniels come up and take a picture of the back of my truck because I have a bumper sticker on there. Frank for mayor. I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to get another sign ordinance head. Bastard.
Well, do you want to talk about that at all? The sign issue?
Whatever you guys want. Okay, I am going to plug you guys in now. We get started in about a minute. And so they'll hear commercials and everything?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And they'll just hear us through the mic. They won't hear us during the breaks, right?
Right. They're going to hear what's being broadcast.
All right, you guys are just going to hear what's being broadcast as though you're listening to the actual station. So here we go. There's going to be a little silence for whatever you hear on the radio. You want to test and see if you hear it, Donnie? FYI, you guys can ask us questions, and Donnie usually monitors it.
Did you? I haven't seen it.
It's on all my scoop pages now.
Yeah, I haven't.
Maybe.
I'm 10 weather meteorologist Kate Wenzel with your WSRQ forecast. For the rest of your Friday afternoon, we'll see a few scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm at 30% chance of coverage. Cloudy skies continue with windy conditions out of the northwest around 20 miles per hour, and we could see gusts close to 30. Then for tonight, just a few isolated showers with mostly cloudy skies and a low temp of 80 degrees. That is your 10 weather forecast on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota, Manatee.
Good day. Check it out live. Service model class America. Check it out, of course, right now. We'll look at pretty good traffic flow through most of the region. First off, the important thing, like the Skyway Bridge, it is open, but be careful. It is very windy across that bridge. Disabled vehicles southbound about the 171 Proctor at hand. A crash reported there, 41 bypass Center Road, a station there. Accident that is. Other than that, we find ourselves not all that badly done. Things are basically coming along in good shape. If you have a damaged windshield, full insurance coverage, Auto Glass America can install and do it for free. Buy back your old one for up to $100 on the spot. 813-96 Glass. Dave Anderson, WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota, Manatee.
News, business, politics, Wall Street. Whether national or local, we are taking an in-depth look at the topics affecting your daily lives. It's time to join your hosts, Bob and Donnie. Live from the WSRQ studios, this is the SRQ Review.
Welcome to the SRQ Review. It is now 5 past the hour here on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee. I'm Donnie Cogswell here with my co-host Bob Rainier. And today we have another co-host joining us.
We do.
I'm back in the house, guys.
Frankie
The scoop
Abruzzino.
is in the house.
Yeah, Scoop is in the house.
He sure is. So it's good to have you back. But you're actually here in another capacity today.
Yeah, you're not just hosting with us today. Now we have to drill you.
Yeah, I'm here to discuss my mayoral platform down in Venice, Florida.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do we even approach this? How do we...
With softball, very softballs.
Okay. Yeah.
No hard pitches.
Well, if I was going to be, a news editor and sit up straight and look into the microphone, I'd say, now, Frankie, you've lived in Venice for quite a few years.
Yes.
Why do you wish to run for mayor now? And just wait for the softball answer.
There you go. We could try that approach.
Okay. Why did you do this?
I decided to do this because I've been around for years out on the Scoop News. I've been advocating a lot of issues out there. I've been bringing a lot of attention to the local issues at both the county and city level. And my biggest thing that got me in there was the fact that Mayor Holic was running unopposed again. And the last time he ran unopposed for his second term, I remember a quote that he told WWSB, and it was, well, this just reaffirms the fact that everybody loves my agenda and that I'm the guy that's doing the right thing and everybody just loves me. And I thought, no, that's not what it says. It says the fact that nobody has all this time to run for a job that pays $12,000 a year and nobody has the pack and all the developers in your pocket to run against you because they'll end up losing, like a lot of people have told me I'm going to end up losing. So I just wanted to challenge him, A, and B, I wanted him to get out there and talk to the people, because a lot of his votes have been opposite of what individuals in the community have wanted. And you might say, well, how do you know that?
Well, because of the Scoop pages.
The Scoop pages.
Right. See, and I think that's the biggest plus that you have going for you is that you will put on your pages the stuff that the Herald won't, that My Suncoast won't. You'll put stuff up there that really isn't, have no other place to find out about it.
Right.
And the more and more people that become awake, they go, hey, wait a minute, maybe there's something else I should look into here. And without a doubt, that helps you in a big way.
Yeah, and I put stuff just like a couple weeks ago. I put about the 3 separate meth busts on the island of Venice, which were, a couple blocks away from the city hall.
Yeah, and that's
one
definitely
house away from the Epiphany.
Yeah, and that's definitely a topic that most stay away from. You don't hear too much about all the drug abuse going on.
And there was a shootout, too. What I didn't mention is that shootout wasn't a robbery. It was a drug deal that went bad. I saw the police report. I know everything that was involved. I've talked to the mother and stuff on certain individuals. And they're driving down the island of Venice on harbor with a guy leaning out his car shooting his gun.
Really?
And yet, I'm the only person that reported that.
And what's up with that?
I don't know. They want to project this image that Venice is this paradise, this pristine place, and the politicians want that. The newspapers do what the politicians want. They like to put out these nice, fluffy stories,
Right.
and people don't know what's really going on out there, and so they all walk around with their whole head in the ground. Right. And how are you going to take care of an issue if you don't first
Right, if you
realize
don't
it?
even know you have an
exists.
issue. Yeah.
Right.
You don't even know you have. No, that's great. There's no question whatsoever that what you do with the Scoop pages and your national news, you're bringing focus to issues that people haven't heard of. And there's a learning curve behind, I'm going to call you like almost alternative news for a second. Mm-hmm. There's a learning curve. When people first look at something that isn't being broadcast in the mainstream media, they go, this must be wrong, or this must be
Right,
wrong.
All the time.
Hard time
Exactly.
believing it at first.
I can't tell you how many times I put a story out and people say, you're lying, you're ruining life. It comes out 2 or 3 months later because Sarasota Herald or WWSB or the local town paper put it out, and they're like, oh, now it's real. It really did happen.
Yeah. It was garbage. It was fake when you did it.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, now it
But
must
I
be
do
real.
think that people in general are becoming a little more used to acknowledging alternative news. At least there's more of them out there. I mean, you can look at
no
that with the
question.
success with Jones.
You
and
see
all
that with Alex Jones. You see it with Breitbart. You see it with Donald Trump. The only reason Donald Trump is doing as well as he's doing is because he's saying the things that people want to hear and feel, a lot of them feel inside, but they can't get it from the mainstream media because they're all in the pocket.
Well, and a lot of that, even at the national level, you and I, before the show started, we were talking about the evacuation, and we mentioned the Russian, the 40 million. You don't really read about that here. You don't read that Russia is essentially preparing because they're nervous as heck that there's going to be a war with the United States.
Yeah, no, just stop right there. You take that little 10-second clip that you just said, and people are going, what is he talking about?
Right.
They have no idea.
And that's going to kill my mayoral. He's a conspiracy guy.
So let me back that up for him, okay? Just so people don't think he's nuts and he's got tinfoil going on. In all reality, 40 million Russians have been instructed to prepare for biological, radiological, all types of alternative warfare. They're going through drills. In fact, they just did part 1. Now, you don't mobilize 40 million people to practice defense and preparation unless there's, some nerves.
And
so he's not crazy. This is real.
Along those same lines, guess where I had to find out that Russia instituted a no-fly zone over Syria today? From Sputnik News. You can't find
you
that
won't
here.
Find it on our news, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's getting serious there.
But because of the fact that you bring to light things that are not in the mainstream media, you're not going to find it. Does Venice have a local little gazette or a paper or something?
Oh, God, don't get me going on that local town. Yeah, they're the ones that want to squash me like a cockroach.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, then
we're not even going to mention their name.
We're not even going to mention their name.
No, but
I will say this, that I have a larger reach and than they do, and they don't like me for it.
Well, jealousy will get you nowhere.
Jealousy get you nowhere.
All right.
So let's talk about my platform.
Let's go in.
But I still want to ask another question.
Oh, you're up now. Okay.
So what made you decide, because you already have influence on what's going on with your reach through the scoop. What made you decide that this was the way to go about it, to finally run for mayor? Because I know it's something you were thinking about for a while.
Yeah, it's something I thought about. And, you're right. I think I have more power through the scoop than I actually would as a mayor, to be honest with you. Because it amazes me how much power I have through there, and I didn't even realize it. And now I finally got a grip on it, and I try not to abuse it because I could do a lot of stuff if I wanted to with that through that entity. I didn't do it for the money because if I get this job, it pays $12,000. Guess what? I got to hire an assistant, and so I'm going to be doing
for
it for
$20,000
yeah,
just to fill in.
So I'm going to be paying to be the mayor. It wasn't that. It was just a lot of stuff I see out there. I've been around John Holic, Mayor Holic. I've seen him in action. I see him portray a person in public that he isn't behind the scenes. And I think we needed to change. A lot of it revolved around the development. That's the primary thing, and around the budgets, but also around the personalities. One thing, and I don't know how many people realize this, but in talking to several people I know at the county commission level and different political levels here within the Sarasota and the city, he's just not a liked guy. And I'm not a liked guy because I put out these stories. I put out my rogue rants. People don't like my political views. I think at a personal level, a lot of people actually like me when they meet me. They don't like me because of those views that I put out, and that's acceptable. I understand that. They don't like him because his personality in dealing with the different issues. And so a lot of people want change so that the city can move forward.
Very good. Very good.
No, there's definitely a lot that's going on down in Venice, too. And I think in talking to a lot of my neighbors, because for those of you who don't know, I do live down that way. I'm not in the city, but I do live down in Venice. And most people have no idea of what's going on. At the local level like that, they know a little bit at the national, but when you start talking about what's going on in the city of Venice, they're like,
Well, and they don't realize how it's going to impact them. I did an article, and everyone says, oh, he's just a sheriff news. I actually do articles and stuff. And one of them revolved around the 5 taxes that the city's going to basically be instituting. And I barely got any readership into it. One being the referendum for new roads, something like 18 million. The referendum for public safety, which John did not give you guys the full truth on when he talked to you. The waste fee just went up. You got the property tax that just went up. My home's 16% value up. So I'm going to be paying that extra taxes. Plus, they're pushing the 1 cent tax. If you look back 3 years ago during the last property tax increase, they said it was for the VFD pensions, the VPD pensions, and for the health care. The same logic they're using for this one. So why didn't we do it right the first time 3 years ago?
and what did that money get spent on?
Yeah.
All right, we do have to go into a break here. We'll be back with more right after this. You've been listening to the SRQ Review here on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee.
Clear.
Hi, I'm Barbara Cogswell from A Better Solution. We provide non-medical home health care services. We are here to help with transportation, light housekeeping, meal preparation, respite care for loved ones, and so much more. Our services are available 24/7 or as needed. Call for your free assessment today at 941-906-1881. Don't forget to mention WSRQ to receive a special rate. Employment opportunities are available. Call now, 941-906-1881.
Concerned with your retirement? Have you been told the Wall Street Casino is the only place for your IRA? Well, if you want a safe alternative with tax advantages, a pension-like income that can't be outlived, call Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group at 941-210-3845. Learn how to make a reasonable rate of return without the risk of the market while locking in your gains. Don't get caught by the next correction. Call Greg Ellie at 941-210-3845.
Did you know when you donate or shop at Goodwill, you are changing lives through the power of work? With the sales of donated goods and philanthropic dollars, Goodwill is able to assist people with disabilities and other barriers to employment by providing job skill training and employment opportunities. In fact, in 2015, Goodwill Minnesota served 22,739 people. Thank you for supporting Goodwill, and for more information, visit experiencegoodwill.org.
Stonegate Bank specializes in community association banking, offering a wide variety of services, including certificates of deposit, money market accounts, and payment processing, and a staff with many years' experience in association banking. Stonegate Bank's West Florida locations are in Sarasota, Venice, Inglewood, Tampa, Pine Island, Fort Myers, and Naples. Call us today to discuss your association banking needs at 941-237-2050. Stonegate Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Don't have a radio nearby? Listen online at WSRQradio.com. WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee.
And welcome back to the SRQ Review. And once again, joining Bob and I today is Frankie Abruzzino, who not only has previously co-hosted with us, but today he's here because he's running for mayor of Venice. And I do want to put out there and let everybody know that we did have the current mayor, who's also running, John Holic, on the show. We had him on previously, and that was actually through the encouragement of Frankie. You had reached out and said, hey, you guys should have him on. We treated him fairly, but you have not been on the show since you announced your candidacy.
Not as a candidate.
Not as candidate.
He's been here a few times. I'd say maybe 4 for
well, with
doing
the exception of his news.
Freaky Friday. Well, he's here every day, thank goodness, with the news.
Doing the lovely news for you guys.
But actually getting in here and having a ball together, maybe he's been in here about 4 times.
Yeah, and I was just, so you guys probably didn't hear this, I was just telling Bob I missed doing Freaky Friday when we started going off on that Russian thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of places we could go, too.
Right, but we're going to try to stay focused on this race here.
Absolutely. So I have a question.
Sure.
All right. You just mentioned taxes before and how they had. Did we do that during the break? Were we talking about the taxes, or was that?
No, he mentioned the 5 taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, taxes has to be something that you're concerned about in this particular platform of yours.
Correct.
And do you see what's happening with them right this second? Do you see any other better way out, a way to change things, or what?
And that's an excellent question. I don't think so. I think because they've planned so lousy. The biggest issue with this council is they kick the can down the road and they don't take care of things as they should. A good example is the Venice Fire Department. They've had a pension problem out there for over 3 years. They should have fixed this. They negotiated a rate. They finally got that solved. It's good to go. Now they need to pay it, but they keep ignoring it. Another one, Councilman Daniels keeps bringing up the issue of we need to redo our bank account. It's costing us, we could save over, I think it's like $120,000 a year. It's been 8 months. They haven't done it.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they
you would think to save 120 grand.
I know, that's kind of important.
I'd get that one done.
And they keep kicking that can down that road, and things don't get resolved. Hence, the tax issue. Now they're coming up to the thing, and I basically looked at it. They're screwed right now. The city, I think they're something like $3 million they pulled out of the general fund or something like that. So that's what they're short. And they said, okay, we went through and we dissected the budget and we saved all kinds of money. But Obamacare is going up $800,000. We got the fire and police pension issue, and so we're still going to be short, even though we did all this budget stuff. So we got to raise the taxes. But I question if they went through the budget, and I question it for this reason: if they went through the budget, why would they spend $675,000 on a parking lot that's south of Sharkey's for additional parking, which is ridiculous? And I'm hearing the cost of money would be higher if they're budgeting. Why are we paying for a trolley? They brought the trolley in at $72,000, okay, for a 6-week timeline. And they want to keep it, I think, 3 to 4 months. So that's over $300,000 a year. They say the trial period's like 3 years, okay? We did a 6-week trial. It's to alleviate parking.
Right.
They found that it did not alleviate parking. Yeah, it's a tourist thing.
Right.
And yet they decided to move forward with it for 4 more months. Now, how's that a higher priority than repairing a fire department that it has 3 departments, 3 buildings that are in disrepair?
Or a library with mold, or
a library with another good thing is that public safety thing. All right. Now, what happened is you guys said, what's up with the referendum? John, the mayor, came on. He said, people are confused about it, and we knew all the time about possibly expanding the police department, but we went ahead. We had to get it out there, blah, blah, blah. He made up this whole story. What happened is I started doing a lot of research on it, and I brought a ton of attention to it. Next thing you know, WWSB, that follows my page like a hawk, ran that story about the evidence room and the water leaking. What's been going on is I kept asking in my articles, what's happening with an expansion? How come it's just a new one for $13 million? How come we're not looking at expanding the old one? Where's that stuff? I don't see it anywhere here. Well, it wasn't there. And what they did is they rushed it through because they wanted to get it through. They wanted to get it rushed through and put through and on the referendum in a timely manner, even though they didn't have all the pieces to the puzzle there. Look, if you don't have all the pieces, you don't move forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a business person. If I don't have all my information there, guess what? I'm not going to move forward with it. And I know there's a timeline. I know it would be great to get on there, but you don't. So he says that they knew about the expansion was out there, but he said something different during the special meeting, which was about 2 weeks before your radio show. They had a special meeting because nobody knew about it. I think almost every council member said, if we would have known that we could do this expansion for $8 million, we wouldn't have done this referendum. Yet Holic acted like it was always out there. The other thing, too, is he went on WWSB and they said, on your show. And he said, we don't want to repair the current police station in a manner that it should be repaired because they're doing haphazard stuff now because the referendum might go through. Now, here's the issue. He's been saying he wants to move his public works into that police station if a new one goes through. So why wouldn't you spend the money to fix it if you're going to move public works in there? Again, he's not being totally upfront. He said that the referendum, we've always known that we were going to take the extra money and use it for other buildings. He never knew that. If he did know it, he was lying during the special meeting. And that's what I'm saying. Just be consistent. And that's one of my biggest issues is I'm honest and I'm upfront. I'm going to tell you you're a jerk if I think you're a jerk. And people don't like me for that. That's fine. But I don't like leading people on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk. I want to change the topic real quick.
Right.
Let's talk about endorsements.
Okay.
Because I understand that you got some good ones.
Yes, I think they're excellent ones. We didn't even discuss this. The fire department, which is an awesome one. I can't say fire department. The union of firefighters.
Well, I was going to say, because as soon as you brought up the fire and police pension, that's what made me think about, letting everybody know that, hey, that you have their support.
I have their support. They gave me a nice check. I have their logo now on my signs, which is great. And it's great that they support me. And they support me because over the last few years, I've had the same fight, the same story. I haven't changed it up. I've been saying repair the fire departments, get the fire trucks we should have gotten. We've only gotten one. Take care of their pensions. So this is nothing new. And they see me doing that. And guess what? These guys supported Holic the last 2 runs.
Oh, well,
yeah,
very good.
Yeah, now they're over in my corner. Now, the other one is another great one that I never expected is the ex-mayor of Venice, Ed Martin. Now, this is a staunch liberal progressive. And he used to work with Lyndon Johnson. Him and I do not agree on national issues, whatever. You would not agree with him, Bob. Nice guy. On local issues, we agree on just about everything. But it just shows you how somebody will, you got a Democrat, progressive, an ex-mayor that'll come over and support you versus somebody that probably has the same linings. Now, it's a nonpartisan race, and I'm not supposed to say what the other person is. Unfortunately, everybody knows what I am because I'm so public. You got to.
Yeah, I don't think it's a major secret here.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see. What do you think he is? Yeah, I think everybody gets it. Well, that's a tremendous thing, though, and it is reality in the fact that when you've got you're not supposed to talk about the parties, but let's face it, we all have liberal friends and we all have conservative friends, and it is funny how, when you're together, when you're local, when you're going out for a drink and a pizza, everybody gets along. It's only when you get to the big issues or the national issues that things kind of separate. So it certainly makes sense that, the guy can come across the line and say, hey, I think what you're standing for is really, really good. And that's a wonderful thing.
And I think some of the stuff he really likes is my approach with growth. It's funny. I'll say I like a controlled, sustainable growth. So like the plans that are in place, comp plans that are in place. And people will say, oh, you don't want growth. No, I want slow, controlled growth. I know we need to grow, but I want infrastructure in place. I want to make sure it's a smart growth.
Wait a minute. You want
right?
Hold on. You want a plan? Because you're not following the model that's been used throughout Sarasota.
Well, and I think that's why people like Councilman Daniels and Gates and are supporting the mayor, obviously, with some of their actions lately, is because he wants the same thing they do. And they're redoing our city comp plan. They want this super, let's go at it, grow, grow, grow. Let's build 5,000 new houses and double our population. Let's build 3 hotels on the island. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. You can't just do that. We need to look at all the different plans. Now, a lot of people, the developers don't like me because I did an article on Mike Miller with a lot of his history with the city. And I don't know if I want a $120-room luxury hotel at the airport. I see a need for a hotel. I think a hotel would be good on the island as long as it's thought out. I said, okay, I had a meeting with someone, and I said, okay, what are we doing about the infrastructure? Because it's crazy busy there. What's the plan? We're going to have shuttles. How many people are going to use those shuttles?
Right.
Give me a break. Come on.
Nobody's going to use it. It kind of goes back to the trolley, Yeah. Now, I understand the concept of the trolley because, in season, if you're right down there on East Venice Ave and you want to do Restaurant Row, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. And the wife and I have driven around several times trying to say, well, maybe we're not eating here tonight,
But, I have an idea for this. If you're going to keep that trolley, don't turn it into a tour bus like it is. How about this? How about Main Street? They want to, I don't know if people know this, but Main Street's not just that 4-block area on the island. It goes over the bridge, the main Venice Avenue Bridge, and up to the light, basically. And they want to make that place look nicer and encourage people to start going there, hence the rezoning and stuff. Now, why not use all that parking at the boat ramp, at that new park they have there, and say, okay, the trolley will run from there, point A to point B. Maybe less points of destination. I think more people, I think more people would park there if you really publicize it and everybody knows about it and they know the trolley's going to run consistently every 10 minutes or whatever it might be,
right,
and just hop on it and go over or maybe walk over. Why not try something like that instead of making it a tourist? Right now, 20 stops. I don't know how many stops it is, but it's a tourist attraction.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, when we get back, I want to talk to you about a few other things here. We got to go into affordable housing because that's a big issue throughout our area. But I also want to talk to you. I understand that there was some kind of drama over a sign.
Yeah.
Over one of the campaign signs.
Don't get me going, Donnie.
When we get back from the break, we got to go ahead and have to talk about that. All right. So everybody stay tuned. You've been listening to the SRQ Review here on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee. We'll be right back. Clear.
You can stay connected with everything happening in Sarasota, Bradenton, and Venice by visiting our online stream at WSRQradio.com.
So at the conclusion of this email exchange about a couple different things,
Imus in the morning.
I write, let's not forget I'm battling cancer.
Of course.
Thinking that she was aware that,
Yeah, like the rest of us are.
well, I didn't hear from her because I'm sure she's sitting there just horrified. Wouldn't you think?
Well, normal people would be, yeah.
Because who thinks that that's amusing other than me? Yeah.
Imus in the mornings, weekdays 6 to 9.
I'm 10 weather meteorologist Kate Wenzel with your WSRQ forecast. For the rest of your Friday afternoon, we'll see a few scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm at 30% chance of coverage. Cloudy skies continue with windy conditions out of the northwest around 20 miles per hour, and we could see gusts close to 30. Then for tonight, just a few isolated showers with mostly cloudy skies and a low temp of 80 degrees. That is your 10 weather forecast on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota, Manatee.
On the drive at this hour, let's see how we're going to do it. It's a service here of Trilogy by Shea Homes Resort Communities. Not looking badly done. There was early reports of a ladder southbound about the 217. Other than that, I'm finding us doing pretty good shape. Don't see any other hang-ups on the roads for us right now. Travel flow along 75, along the trail, Fruitville, Proctor, Geneva, all in pretty good shape. The Good Life is calling your name. Your next chapter could be your best at a Trilogy lifestyle community in Central Florida. If you could dream it, you could do it at a Trilogy by Shea Homes Resort Community. TrilogyLife.com/Florida. Dave Anderson, WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota, Manatee.
And welcome back to the SRQ Review. It is now 35 past the hour here on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota, Manatee. And once again, Bob and I have Frankie Abruzzino in studio with us, and he is running for the mayor of Venice.
Yes.
I still have trouble saying it almost. It's almost hard to believe.
I have a hard time saying it.
You were kicking it around for a while. I'm actually happy that you did it. I think it's a good thing. I really do.
And we knew him when.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is we get to say that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
All right. So we were talking about, as you're going to the break, we're going to talk about this sign issue. But before we get into that, it's kind of interesting because you're in a very unique position once you decided to run, because you were already in the spotlight as a media personality, but now you're also a candidate. So you have these two very different roles that you have to play.
Yes.
And there obviously could be some conflict there. So as far as what I understand is, Mayor Holic has a lot of campaign signs around.
Right.
They're all over the place. And there are certain rules as far as putting up signs and all that goes. You started putting some of your own signs out, and you did have one location where you had permission from the person to put the sign up.
Right.
And then what happened?
Okay, and just to touch on, I don't know where I see John's signs everywhere, but I could care less if he's in violation or anything, and I'm not going to call on his signs. To me, it's childish. I don't care. But Councilman Daniels and I guess Johnny Boy Holic have a different opinion, and they're calling on all mine. And I think every single one but one has been picked up. Even one that's on property. And what happened is at 7-Eleven, I went in there, I talked to the manager, and I said, look, I know I can't put it on the right of way, but I noticed your yellow brick ends here. Can I put it right over there? He said, I'm not sure. I know it's not the city property. I'm not sure if it's ours or what the deal is. Put it out there, and we'll talk to the regional manager. If the regional manager comes in and doesn't like it, we'll pull it out. I said, that's fair. So I put it in there. Next thing you know, I troll the emails on the city server, and I see Councilman Bobby Boy Daniels right up in there and say, Frankie's not asking people to put signs out. He's out here putting them wherever he wants to. He's running off rogue. And what had happened is he saw the sign. He called the regional manager instead of talking to the local store manager. She didn't know anything about it, obviously. And he just started jumping to conclusions and trashing me essentially on the email.
Wow. Did he equally check every one of the other guys' signs for exact place with a measuring tape?
No, apparently not. He, you know what? Because he does not. Bob Daniels does not want me on the council. I can guarantee you that.
And you said all but one of yours have been removed?
Yep.
What? Wait. Whoa. They've been pulled out.
Yeah, and I
trashed.
I actually asked Lori, the city clerk. I'm like, are you working on behalf of John's campaign? Do you want to know where all my signs are so you can make sure they're all gone?
Right, just GPS them or something? What?
Yeah, and I even got a call because a resident moved it. And they're like, you got yours on the right of way. I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't even been over there. That it was a resident put a sign up and they moved it and they're telling me I had it on the right of way. And I'm like, now I'm worried about even putting out residents because they're all over me out there in the city.
How many did you put out?
Only like 8 or 10, not that many.
And they took them away.
Yeah.
It would be very interesting to see if any of the other signs that are up are in violation of these same.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is the guy that's calling, the 7-Eleven regional manager, is he measuring the other guy's signs? It's 6 inches away from the easement or what?
Who knows? The guy's a goofball. I could go
So
on and on about
basically,
him.
the answer is no, right?
I don't think so. Now,
All right, let's just ask the question.
Yeah.
So do you believe you're being targeted?
I think I'm being targeted. I think maybe I might have messed up, but the way they're aggressively going after me,
Right,
and
you're being
stuff,
targeted
I feel
unfairly.
like I'm being. That's just like when John. I don't think I ever told you guys this. I obviously I run social media. My wife banned some lady from a group, not me, but my name's all over everything. Next thing you know, she's going crazy out there because she got banned from a group. She writes the mayor to tell him she was banned from a Facebook group and that I'm this horrible person. The mayor writes the city clerk and says, you need to start monitoring Frankie on his pages. I'm like, what are we, in Stasi, Germany here? You're going to monitor me?
So Venice
but
has
you know
an
what?
NSA department?
But you know what? They should monitor your pages to see how bad they're fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
Okay?
But that's a good reason not to sit there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have issues, and that all revolves around integrity and some of the character flaws that I have.
I saw on one of your pages, I'm not going to say who posted or what, but your character was being called in question.
Yes.
And is there part of this race that is boiling down to just basic character issues?
I think it's going to boil down to 3 things, and then I'll end it with character because that's the more important one there. I think it's going to boil down to development, where you stand on growth, and balancing the budget, prioritizing the budget. In terms of character, I think that's a big issue, and it's a lengthy issue. Yesterday, a good example, and it involves the development end. I put out an email because, like I said, I trolled the city server, and on there you had Pat Neal of Neal Homes. His secretary asked Mayor Holic for a meeting to discuss a legal matter. I said, whoa. Mayor Holic responded and said, yes, let's do it. I think it was 9:30, October 5th. So I put that on the scoop. Everybody sees it. A concerned resident writes Mayor Holic on the 5th, the day of the meeting, and says, I heard you're having a meeting with Pat Neal today. Did you? John responds on October 6th at 4 a.m., says, no, I don't have the meeting today. And so the person wrote him back and said, maybe I need to elaborate. Did you have one yesterday when I wrote this email? Oh, yes, I did. And so it's like, what are you trying to hide? Why couldn't you just be honest and say, I didn't have one today, but I did have one yesterday.
Right. You know what they're asking. And if you don't, then probably shouldn't be mayor.
Yeah, he knew exactly. And he's got a history of doing this stuff. And, I did some digging into this one article, and it's just going to show you this type of history. And this is something that came out back in 2007 that the Herald Tribune originally uncovered. John Patton, who's an advocate, he's an activist down there wanting good government and all that stuff. He ran with the story back when John was running 6 years ago. Back then, social media wasn't around. John didn't have a huge following. Just, those hardcore activists like me and voters would follow him.
Right.
Well, he went out and he looked at something, and he asked John in an email. This is all online. If you want to see it, I can send you the links and everything. He asked John in an email, have you ever had any issues essentially at Edward James where there was involving fraud or any kinds of concerns like that? John came back and said, no, one of my employees, but it had nothing to do with me. It was nothing big. So then he checked it out more. He pulled all the records. The Herald did their story. It ends up that this guy, his name was Christensen. He went out, Brian Christensen, and he was doing some manipulating, some fraud. And Bob, I showed you a little bit of it. You might be able to help elaborate. Essentially, what it was doing is bilking investors here in Venice out of millions of dollars. So Don did the right thing. He found out about it. He said, okay, you're fired. This is where he went wrong. He fired the guy, let the guy take all of his investors with him, his whole portfolio, and for over a year did not tell any of them or tell anybody what this guy was doing. So this guy continued to dupe these individuals for an entire year.
Do we know offhand what he was doing?
Yeah.
How he was milking the accounts? Or what?
It's all detailed out in that article. And basically, the firm, A.G. Edwards, was assessed with $250,000 punitive damages by the NASD, National Association of Security Dealers, for everything that took place. There's a $1.2 million judgment against the office for defrauding customers. So what's this tell you? You know, you look at that email situation. You look at this where Holic, somebody, a media guy, John Patton is a media guy in my eyes, asked him, was there any issues like that? John came back and said no. Then
right, just a $250,000 fine, $1.2 million judgment. Nothing too serious.
Nothing big. It was some other guy.
Nothing to see here. That'll buff right out.
So he wasn't honest there, and then he wasn't. How about all these investors, Venice folks that were built out of thousands of millions
that's the
of
part
dollars?
that's kind of bugging me about this particular one now. See, I don't know this history that well. In fact, I don't know it at all. So guide me through this. Obviously, Holic was part of A.G. Edwards.
He was the managing partner, managing person there.
Okay, so he was that particular location's manager.
Right.
All right. So the guy under him was probably, and this is opinion because I don't know, he was probably in brokerage of some kind.
Correct.
And people were, had accounts that he was either managing somehow or, basically making investments for, etc. So when it come to find out that he was doing something wrong as far as the eyes of the SEC are concerned, that affects two different things. He's part of A.G. Edwards, and A.G. Edwards is a big outfit. They don't want this kind of thing.
Right.
So obviously they say, whoa, we got a rogue trader here or something really ugly here. He's got to go away. Now,
right.
how it, foments from there to saying that A.G. Edwards, was it A.G. Edwards that got the?
A.G. Edwards, yeah.
They got the lawsuit against them.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Do we know if anything was placed against the Christensen guy himself?
I believe it was, and I think that's part of that $1.2 million judgment. I can't recall it just offhand.
Okay.
All right, we got to go into another break here.
When we come back, I want to do this.
All right.
we will. We'll be back with more right after this. You've been listening to the SRQ Review here on WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want.
Don't have a radio nearby? Listen online at WSRQradio.com. WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee.
Hi, I'm Barbara Cogswell from A Better Solution. We provide non-medical home health care services. We are here to help with transportation, light housekeeping, meal preparation, respite care for loved ones, and so much more. Our services are available 24/7 or as needed. Call for your free assessment today at 941-906-1881. Don't forget to mention WSRQ to receive a special rate. Employment opportunities are available. Call now, 941-906-1881.
Hi, this is Theo Etzel with Conditioned Air. It's not what we do, but how we do it that sets us apart. That may sound cliche, but in the air conditioning industry, it really matters. We don't pay commissions on parts used in repairs. We're there to fix a problem, not hard sell people. We don't have low-priced, gimmick come-ons just to get a chance to sell things. A cheap tune-up, only way those companies can make money. Sell, sell, sell. That is not Conditioned Air. We were named the Residential Contractor of the Year in 2010 and received the prestigious Uncommon Friends Business Ethics Award in 2011. Not for what we do, but for how we do business in Southwest Florida. Please call Conditioned Air at 1-888-COLD-AIR to experience how we do business and why we've been the comfort people since 1962. Conditioned Air. Click conditionedair.com or call 1-888-COLD-AIR for Conditioned Air. CACA 29360.
How you doing? This is Officer Danny Robbins from the Sarasota Police Department. You love your home, so make sure to protect it from criminals. The Sarasota Police Department wants to offer you some helpful hints to protect your home. First, make sure that all the doors of your home are locked. Second, do not draw attention to your home by leaving empty boxes out at the curb. Third, add motion lights to the outside of the home for security. Fourth, do not leave valuables in your car in plain view. Bring them inside. This message has been brought to you by the Sarasota Police Department.
Check it out, The Drive Now, the service of Trilogy by Shea Homes Resort Community. And as we kind of move about right now, accident now reported around 14th Street, 57th Avenue West. The rest of our area is moving along in pretty good shape. We don't see any other headaches on the road other than just a little bit of volume and a lot of wind, especially on the Skyway Bridge. But right now, all lanes there are open. Skyway Bridge is open. Green Bridge starting to show some signs of a little bit of go-home traffic. Other than that, we're looking good. Keep it safe. The Good Life's calling your name. Next chapter could be your best in a Trilogy Lifestyle community in Central Florida. Visit trilogylife.com/Florida for more. Dave Anderson, WSRQ, the voice of Sarasota Manatee.
And welcome back to the SR.
All right, guys, that's the live show. I'm going to end it. I'll see everybody. If you guys want to go out and do the flyers, email me, faberzino@yahoo.com, because I never check threads.